Okay, well this might be a video response to a video by Girlwriteswhat talking about an article that she'd read online. It might be a video response because I might not upload it. I don't know. I'm really just kind of going to talk to the camera to get my thoughts across on it, I think. Though why I need to say that, since as I'm really only talking to myself, I don't know. Because if you are watching this, then it has been uploaded as a video response, and if you're not watching it, then nobody's watching it, and I'm just simply talking to my hard drive, which is really a rather bizarre thing to do. So I really enjoyed the video by Girlwriteswhat. She was commenting on a video, on an article online, on some kind of feminist blog, I think, which is just a sort of female writers only. And the thrust of the article, it was to do with men who are really interested. They've got a bit of a crush on a particular woman, you know, they really fancy her, are really attracted to her, and then they make that romantic leap of faith. They get knocked back, pushed back into what's called the friend zone. Apparently it's not a term I've heard used before, but called the friend zone. And they don't take that. They'd say, well, I'd rather just not be friends at all than be in the friend zone, which is a kind of understandable reaction. It's a reaction a lot of people have, I think, to that. If you really want to spend, as Girlwriteswhat points out from her own experiences, she's been in that position where if you really want to be with somebody, and is that such a terrible thing to do even when a man wants it? If you really want to be with somebody, is that such a terrible place to be mentally, that you really want to be with them and that it would hurt too much? You know, you wouldn't want to be in that sort of in-between position where you're going to see them have that kind of romantic involvement with other people and not with you. I felt that the article said a lot more about the writer than it did about what she was writing about, really. I can't really find much good to say about somebody who has that kind of perspective of people, because the whole article smacked of, rather than trying to interpret the world as most of us do as best we can, but to have prejudged men, that basically men just want to possess a woman, that a woman is simply a man's possession, and that's where men are coming from. Even men that claim to be good men, even men that we might regard as good men, they just see a woman as a possession, and so then everything is kind of reverse engineered from that. We arrive our conclusions given that basic premise, so that we interpret whatever a man does in that respect, and she interprets, the writer of the article does just that, because what she does is she looks at things like buying presents. When a man buys a woman presents, that's because he owns her, that's her possession, it's his possession, so that he can buy her presents. Doesn't even seem to make a lot of sense, that one, that when he wants to spend time with her, that's because that's his possession, so that he's entitled to spend time. On the subject of entitlement, Girlwriteswhat makes many fantastic points there, and one of the most salient points that she makes is on the subject of entitlement, and it's illuminating what she says, which is along the lines of this, which is that, and I'll try and paraphrase it, if you feel entitled to something, you don't fuck about, you just take what it is that you feel that you are entitled to. So if I felt entitled to a relationship or to sex with a woman, I would just say, well, come on then, get your fucking kit off, you know, I'm gonna bang you now. That's what I would, I might not quite use those terms, but that's what I would say, because that would be my perspective, because I would feel entitled to it. What you wouldn't do is crap about potentially wasting your time and your resources and your efforts and your emotions trying to ingratiate yourself with someone. When you try and ingratiate yourself with someone, that's usually a sign that you don't feel entitled to it, which I suppose leads me to the kind of line of thinking that I've just had, because I've just been shopping now, buying the food for tea, which maybe I shouldn't do. I suppose that's deeply sexist of me, isn't it? Perhaps, I don't know. I'm sort of, it's a typical stereotypical hunter-gatherer role there, that I've just gone out there to buy the groceries. Maybe I should have let my wife buy the groceries, although she's at work today and working late, and I've had the day off work. So that's the alternative explanation there. You can decide for yourself which explanation you want to run with on that one. But this whole idea, if you have a crush on somebody, if you want to be with somebody, it's a little bit like a job interview. That you want to portray the best aspect of yourself. You go the extra mile. In a way, perhaps it's a little bit insincere. You're displaying aspects of yourself that perhaps you don't portray, at least to that degree, which is what you do in a job interview. But of course, in a job interview, the same as in real life, everybody's in on it, aren't they? If you apply for a job, you don't say, look, do you know what, to be honest, I'm not really that great of an employee, I'm a bit lazy, I'd rather palm the work off onto somebody else, to be quite honest. No, you highlight your better points. You kind of avoid talking about the parts that aren't quite so good, and the employer knows that. You're in a competition with other people. The employer's not as stupid, any more stupid than you are. Employers know that people oversell themselves, and they expect you to oversell yourself. They expect that you're not going to be quite as good as you dress yourself up to be, and that's part of it. And it's the same with relationships, isn't it? I mean, if you know a woman's got a crush on you, you know she's going to oversell herself a bit. You know, if she says, I don't know, the one thing that she loves is giving blowjobs every night, you take that with a pinch of salt, I think. I mean, you don't take the blowjob with a pinch of salt. That would be quite uncomfortable, I would think, having sort of, I don't know, crystalline rock salt poured over your bell end. For various reasons, I think that would be quite uncomfortable. I'm going to lose my thread thinking about that, in actual fact. No, you take the suggestion with a pinch of salt. You think that what she's actually doing is she's portraying, and as she's saying, I'm a sexual person, you'll get some good sex with me, and that's one aspect of her trying to sell herself to you. Men do the same thing. I've seen friends of mine. Okay, well, I've had to cut it at that point because something strange happened with my computer when I came to play it back. The picture froze for a couple of seconds, then it started without no sound, then there was a few seconds of me sounding like Barry White, and then a few seconds of me sounding like Pinky and Perky, and then the picture just carried on, totally out of sync with the sound. So I kind of think I need to wrap this up, and now I've gone out of focus, so what's going on? It's the technology is letting me down once again. Yeah, so I just have a look at the video that Girlwriteswhat has made on this, because she says it a lot more eloquently than me. She's obviously given it a damn sight more thought, and she makes some fantastic points on it. I have serious concerns about the person who's wrote the article. She simply cannot be a very nice person if that's the kind of perception she has of people, and she kind of puts blokes into a position where the phrase is either you're damned if you do or you're damned if you don't, or the other phrase would be that you can't do right for doing wrong, because she's one of these people, whatever you try and do, you've crapped out, because she's going to see the worst in it. Presumably, if you don't want to spend time with her, then you're a chauvinistic twat. And if you do want to spend time with her, you're a possessive prick. There's nothing that you're going to do that's really going to be viewed in a good light. If that's how you want to go through life, I think all that you deserve probably is loneliness, rather than people spending their time, wasting their time deconstructing the crap that you feel is worth committing to print. Have a look at read the article first, have a look at what Girlwriteswhat. I don't agree with everything Girlwriteswhat says, I have to say. absolutely agree with everything on the thrust of this. Very eloquently put of a video. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to say now. Thank you for watching, because you will be watching, because I have decided now to upload it, and bye for now.